So first is importance of checklists and the root causes as to why exactly do we get into this whole business of creating checklists before we get started with our security roadmap. These are the four main causes that I believe why checklists are very necessary. First one is that the number of infosec requirements are very high. And when I say number of infosec requirements, there are various possible sources from which these requirements would come up. They could come from your certification needs, from your ISMS, from the risks that you identify for your organization, the regulations that your organization is supposed to follow. We will anyways be getting into the details of them later on. The next is the number of controls that need to be implemented. Now, what is the difference between the first one and the second one is that you may have countless requirements as far as your infosec goes. They all need to result into something that you actually implement on the ground, meaning, either it could be a process change or technology upgrade, something of that sort. Now, in infosec world, these are called as controls. Basically, controls are the changes that you implement that improve your security posture. So your infosec requirements, they naturally lead into implementation of controls. And because the number of infosec requirements are very high, naturally the number of controls that you need to implement are also very high. Another related aspect of why checklists are important are the number of stakeholders. See, security is an organization-wide function. It is somewhat similar to, for example, your finance function or your legal function or your HR function. Because of this reason, you deal with multiple stakeholders, and the stakeholders could be of two kinds: the ones who provide something to you, or the ones to whom you provide. These are the people who have certain expectations from you, and the stakeholders may not necessarily be internal alone, they may be external as well. So just to count a few, your stakeholders could be the various departments in your organization, the regulatory bodies, your clients, your suppliers. If I speak specifically in the terms of ISO 27001, which a lot of the audience may be aware of, then these are the people who are called as the interested parties, right? And because there are so many stakeholders, keeping track of all of their expectations is quite difficult, and which is again where checklist becomes useful. Finally, your sources of requirements are very high. I already said that the number of requirements themselves are very high. Because the fact that there are so many stakeholders, not only the stakeholders become your sources of requirement, but also let's say you're chasing some kind of a certification, or maybe you have defined a very good ISMS. All of these together become the sources of your requirements, the infosec requirements. Now, these are the root causes. These are the basic reasons, fundamental reasons why a checklist driven approach is something that is always better when it comes to infosec operations as compared to any other methodology that you could apply.